A 23-year-old wife became a stripper. Her husband walked out. That is the story most people think this case is about. It isn't. He did not leave because she danced. He left because of a 19-year secret she never told him before the wedding. And the court had proof of it sitting on the table before anyone spoke. If you think marriages break over betrayal, that is only the surface. This case raises a darker question. What happens when deception enters a marriage before consent ever existed? Because one document, in this case, one piece of evidence, changes the entire story. And if you miss that, the judge's ruling makes no sense at all. Stay with me, because the trap in this case is set long before the courtroom. If your story belongs on this channel, there is a submission link in the description. You can share as much or as little as you want. You can stay anonymous. Patterns only become visible when enough people are willing to put their experience on record. That is part of what this channel is trying to build. This channel only covers cases built from documented public record, court filings, source records, material you can verify yourself. Everything is linked in the description. I started doing this because I watched a legal process destroy someone I knew, and nobody could explain what was happening until it was over. That should not be normal. If any part of this feels familiar, that is why this channel exists. If this kind of documented casework matters to you, subscribe so you do not miss the next case file. From the outside, this looked like a young couple falling apart. Amber Smith, 23, Taiwan Collins, her husband, 5 years together, 2 years married, 1 child, now sitting in court. The surface story was simple. A wife wanted to be a pole dancer. A husband could not accept it. The marriage broke. That is the headline.
He doesn't believe in my dreams, and he's very irresponsible.
She wanted to be a stripper. Dancing is all.
The court, she had wanted that life since she was 4 years old, 19 years. That was not a phase, that was identity. Taiwan had a dream too, a career in entertainment, and he said he gave part of it up because Amber could not accept the environment it required. So this was never really about dancing. It was about two people asking each other for sacrifices neither was willing to make themselves. That is called incompatibility. And marriages break over that every day. But incompatibility is not what made this case unusual. Deception did. There was one document already sitting on the table that changed the entire meaning of this marriage, and that is where the real case begins. Half of first marriages end in divorce. Half. But the cases people talk about are usually simple stories. Cheating, money, abuse, someone to blame. The harder cases are different. Two people both want something real. Two people both sacrifice. And neither fully says what they cannot live without until it is too late. That is where this case lives. Amber said she wanted to be a weather anchor. That was the future Taiwan believed he was building toward. But she also carried a different ambition she never disclosed before marriage. And that matters because consent is not only about what you agree to, it is also about what was withheld before you agreed. Now add something else. Taiwan gave up part of his entertainment career because Amber objected to him being around other women. Then she chose a profession built around an environment she had condemned in him. That is not a moral argument. That is asymmetry, and asymmetry destroys trust. We saw a version of this in a previous case on this channel. Different facts, same pattern. A legal system forced to make decisions after the core deception had already happened. If you want that case later, it is linked on the end screen. And this is where people misunderstand courts. Courts do not repair conversations that never happened. They rule on the wreckage after. And what happened next in this proceeding turns on one detail almost nobody covering this case ever noticed. Here is what most coverage got wrong. The story people repeat is simple. A woman wanted to be a stripper. Her husband refused. The marriage ended. That is the headline. That is not the case. The deeper conflict was not pole dancing. It was two people trying to control the part of each other they feared most. Amber resisted Taiwan's life in entertainment. Taiwan resisted Amber's identity as a dancer. Neither was really fighting a profession. They were fighting what those worlds represented. Temptation, exposure, and the fear of loss. That is not a career dispute. That is a trust collapse. And then came the details sitting on the table before the hearing even began. The DNA test. Taiwan's mother requested it. Taiwan himself looked at that child and said, "That is my son." And the test confirmed he was right.
You see yourself in him?
Yeah, that's my boy right there.
Yeah. Yeah, all right. That's your baby. That's your baby.
That's right. Which means the test did not expose betrayal, it exposed suspicion, and the court moved past it because the accusation did not survive the evidence.
There might be another type of dancing that is less erotic that would allow him to stay. But if that pole dancing means that much to you, this union is over.
Then the judge asked a different question. Could there be another kind of dancing, a version of this dream that did not destroy the marriage? Amber said no. She called the pole her heart. And that is where this stops looking like a scandal and starts looking like tragedy.
People love each other and can't make that work. That's the real tragedy.
Because what the record shows is not a woman choosing rebellion. It shows a 23-year-old choosing the one identity she was unwilling to abandon, knowing what it might cost. This case is not unusual. What is unusual is that it happened on television, where the record is public. In this marriage, that pressure ran both ways. Taiwan rejected Amber's career. Amber rejected the world Taiwan worked in, and all of it was happening inside financial strain and housing instability. This marriage was not ending, it had already ended. And the hardest fact in this case is that Quame was there for all of it. A child sitting in the middle of every argument, every breakdown, every moment this marriage stopped functioning as a marriage. That is what the judge saw. And that is why the ruling was what it was. She knew what she wanted since she was 4 years old. And she still never told him until it was too late. It was never really about the pole. It was about a dream carried in silence for 19 years, until it surfaced in a way that left no room for compromise. And that is the lesson. The conversations couples avoid before commitment are often the same conversations that end up before a judge. Career expectations, lifestyle boundaries, money, family, what you need, what you cannot live with. Most people treat those as romantic assumptions. They are not. They are terms. And most people never say them out loud. Nothing in this video is legal advice. Everything you heard comes from public record and documented case material. If you are in a family law case, work with a licensed attorney in your state. And if your story belongs on this channel, the submission link is below. You can stay anonymous. Everything stays private unless you say otherwise. Taiwan Collins looked at a picture of his son in that courtroom and said, "That is my boy." And he was right. But somewhere else, another man looked at a child he loved just as much and walked away from everything, his identity, his name, his life. What makes a man disappear so completely that even the people looking for him thought he was dead? That answer is on your screen right now.